This is ABC7 News at 5. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Haley Vilgas.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Our top story, this year's dry season is at the point that dozens of Florida counties have been put under water shortage warnings.
More than 8 million people in the South Florida Water District with a border in Charlotte County are being urged to conserve and follow local lawn watering rules. ABC7's Adam Cellini has more on what local water experts are suggesting during this drought.
Here at Selby Botanical Gardens in Sarasota, staff works hard to make sure every drop of water counts. But now officials in the county are urging all residents to do the same during this drought.
Fresh water is a commodity here in Florida, so you don't want to be wasteful with that.
Mike McLaughlin runs horticulture at Selby Gardens in Sarasota, a tough position this dry season.
What makes this season particularly tough is we've been in conditions like this since last fall.
Conditions with high temperatures and wind, but only half the rainfall normal for this time of year. The Southwest Florida Water Management District, or SWIFMUD, is keeping a close watch on our water supplies.
We're monitoring all the levels. We're looking at natural occurrences and what our water supplies are, and we have ample supply right now. So right now we are sticking with our year-round water conservation measures.
Phase 1 of those measures pertains to yard maintenance. Sarasota County is stringent, limiting residents to just 1 day of watering per week. Everywhere else, residents can water twice a week on either Thursday, Wednesday, or Sunday, and never between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If the drought continues, water levels in Lake Manatee indicate at least 160 more days of water supply for Manatee County. And the Peace River Minnesota Regional Water Supply, which serves Sarasota County, has 10 months.
We're about to go into the wet season, so we're hoping we can sustain until then. So we are asking all of our residents in your viewing area to conserve water where they can.
A few tips from McLaughlin include laying down mulch to retain moisture, hand watering certain areas, and targeting deeper roots.
We'll water less frequently but deeper, longer run times, so that water penetrates deep down into the soil, and then the plants, it encourages them to develop deep roots as well.
And while we should be okay for the remainder of this dry season, staff at SWIFMUD and the individual counties say they won't hesitate to inform residents if that status changes. In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Adam.
And more of the same today. Beautiful day on the Suncoast, but certainly pretty dry here. Let's get more on our weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Yeah, we're talking nearly record drought, really, when you look at it. This is a list of all the rainfall and the fires that occurred and the lack of rainfall from January through April for the Myakka River District. Now notice, 2017, we've had 71 fires. 2013, which was a very bad year, we had 73 fires at this time, but the acreage that has been burnt so far this year exceeds that by nearly 1,000 as far as 2013 goes. So the numbers stay high, and they will continue to go high too all across the region as a result of the lack of rainfall. Really, a few showers are possible over the upcoming days. A little bit better chance for some rain on Sunday, and looks like that rain could be a little bit more impressive. They're getting some rainfall down in the south of us now into the Keys and the Florida Straits and South Florida, some heavier showers there. And the rainy season already has begun, it looks like, into Cuba at this point with some big storms firing up with temperatures warming into the 90-degree range there. But not for us. We're still rather high and dry here. We have a west wind, and that west wind is cooling some things off right near the beaches, and it'll stay pretty nice through this evening. We have a west wind at 14. That wind will eventually switch back around to the east later on tonight. The pressure 30.05, that's high. And that continues to stay fairly steady. Now, the high clouds that you see here will continue to stream overhead. So we'll see a mixture of clouds with some clear skies. Should make for a pretty decent sunset tonight, but no threat of any rainfall with these clouds as they make their way through during the overnight and tomorrow. But look for just a few clouds around up until 11 o'clock. Temperature dropping down to 69 degrees at 11. More in your forecast for the rest of this work week coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man in connection with a hit-and-run crash on Longboat Key. Michael James Rowe was arrested Friday on charges of leaving the scene of a traffic crash. Additional charges are expected in relation to this crash. The Longboat Key Police Department says Mike McCormick is recovering from his injuries from the April 2nd crash. He's been transported to home. He's living in Nova Scotia and will continue his treatment there. A group of Siesta Key residents are coming together to make parts of the island a safer place to live. The Bay Island Siesta Association has formed a group called Make Siesta Drive Safer. This comes after a rash of car crashes on Siesta Drive in the last year. The group is meeting tonight and wants residents to share their personal experiences and traffic concerns on the key. The meeting starts at 6:30 on Edmondson Avenue.
Manatee County Sheriff's Office is up for a reassessment for accreditation this week. During that process, all aspects of the Corrections Bureau will be examined, including policies and procedures and management operations. To receive reaccreditation, the Sheriff's Office must meet criteria for nearly 400 standards regarding policy, procedure, and practice. The last reassessment happened in 2014.
And ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern is joining us now to tell us we had a very strong start on Wall Street. Richard.
Haley, you're exactly right. When I was here at noontime with Scott, the Dow was up by over 100 points, and I'm pleased to say we did a lot better than that. We're up 190 at the high of the day and closed at almost that figure. Lots of people looking forward to earnings. Believe me, you're going to see a lot of them this week. Just this week, 9 of the 30 stocks that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average are going to report earnings, and 65 of the 500 stocks, that's 13% of those that make up the S&P, will also be reporting earnings this week. So put on your seatbelts because they're going to be coming fast and furious beginning tomorrow morning. So let's take a look and see how we did today, and we did very well, thank you. There you see the Dow up 184 points, 0.9%, closing at 20,636.92. That on volume of 688 million shares. The NASDAQ enjoying a strong day, also up 0.9%, almost 52 points at 5,856.79. That on volume of 1,807 million shares. And the S&P not quite 0.9%, but certainly in the ballgame, up 20 points at 2,349.01. Well, on this very strong day, could any stocks go down? The answer is absolutely. Eli Lilly, the very well-known drug company from Indianapolis, saw its shares fall by more than 4% today after the FDA declined to label a new drug that they had been working on for several years. It's a drug specifically for rheumatoid arthritis. They thought it would be approved and would be a billion-dollar drug by the year 2020. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore. They believe it'll be 3 more years of testing before it might be approved, and I say might be. There's no guarantee of that. They will have new clinical trials and try and figure out exactly what the dosage will be. Shares of Eli Lilly down 4%, and I've said many times it's a market of stocks, not a stock market, and we had a stock market today, but the market of stocks on Eli Lilly shows you that you've got to do your homework. Not a good scene for them, I must say.
You mentioned all the earnings reports coming out. Is that what we can look forward to tomorrow? Who's coming out so far?
All week long, Scott.
Yeah.
Several of them actually after the close today. I know Netflix came out with earnings and they were kind of mixed, so it was a little too early to tell what that result will be. But certainly in real estate, they say location, location, location. In my business, it's earnings, earnings, and earnings. So we'll have them for you tomorrow.
All right, Richard. We'll see you then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, mystery surrounding a murder shared through a Facebook video. Local attorneys, police, and health experts respond to the video seen by users around the world.
And ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your full weather forecast. Plus, it's the season of allergies. Some advice for those who are suffering from these seasonal symptoms.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. back. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
Everyone loves a bright and cheerful smile. Not everyone can find the dental care they need and can afford. Now there's a place nearby where anyone can receive professional quality dental care at an affordable cost. The LECOM School of Dental Medicine in Lakewood Ranch is now accepting patients. You will receive your care in comfortable, state-of-the-art treatment rooms. To schedule your appointment, please call the LECOM Dental Group practices, 941-405-1600. We will be happy to see you smiling again.
It's no small wonder anybody loves it all.
I just love art that moves me.
No small,
I mean really moves me.
One.
Sunset Fiat of Sarasota presents No Small Wonder. High performance style. Let the art of Fiat move you.
Now to an Easter Sunday murder in Cleveland. The suspected gunman recording the gruesome scene and then posting it on Facebook. Police say Steve Stevens is armed and dangerous. They don't know where he is, but say they need to find him before he can target another innocent victim. ABC's Emily Rao is in Cleveland with the latest.
All right, can you do me a favor? Can you say Joy Lane?
What?
Can you say Joy Lane?
Joy Lane?
Yeah. She's the reason why this is about to happen to you.
74-year-old Robert Godwin Sr. shot and killed in the video posted online.
Obviously, this individual is armed and dangerous, and quite frankly, at this point, he could be a lot of places. He could be nearby, he could be far away, and anywhere in between.
As a memorial for the elderly victim grows, the FBI is now working with Cleveland police to track down Steve Stevens. Reports of a sighting in Philadelphia put several schools on lockdown Monday afternoon as police searched a park. So far, investigators are not confirming an actual sighting. A cell phone ping near Erie, Pennsylvania, also drawing interest.
I'm very optimistic. I think things are going to happen. And I believe things are going to happen pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly, but still not soon enough for the family of Robert Godwin Sr.
We beyond shocked. It just feels like our heart is just ripped out of our chest.
The mental health facility where Stevens worked is closed for the day, and the woman mentioned in the video, Joy Lane, calling the suspect a nice guy. His former fraternity brothers in shock.
What in the world could have happened to this man to become so undone?
In other Facebook videos, Stevens talked about killing more people as well, at least 13 other victims. Police tell us they have looked into those claims, but so far have found no evidence to support them. In Cleveland, Ohio, Emily Rao, ABC News.
Locally, social media platforms like Facebook are playing large roles in criminal cases. Law enforcement agencies in both Sarasota and Manatee counties are using tools like Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube to catch criminals and prosecute them. Defense attorney Derek Bird says some of his clients have gone as far as to confess to a crime on social media, and the information on these sites can be subpoenaed like anything else. So even if information is private, law enforcement has access to it.
That goes with, from pinging cell phones to checking people's social media accounts. And, there's just a long laundry list of things that you can do to aid you in an investigation as far as the social media goes.
Before, maybe someone just told their best friend or they told their neighbor, so they were publicizing this to one or two people. Chance of that getting back to law enforcement or becoming an issue in the case was pretty slim. Now it's being publicized or broadcast to thousands of people.
Psychologists say criminals take to social media to broadcast or publicize their crimes because they want a stage, and social media gives them that stage in what feels like an anonymous way.
All right, one of the dark sides of social media.
Yeah, it can be a good thing.
Bright
but-
sides too.
Right.
You know, we get to share a lot of great photos that people send in. They get the forecast and warnings and watches that come up. You know, people not always in front of their TV, so they can kind of keep an eye on that on our Facebook page too. I want to give a little plug in for that as well. We are looking at not many storms around, so there hasn't been a whole lot of warnings going on. The only warning we've had, a really red flag warning due to the dry conditions, as we saw with Adam's report earlier. Casey Key webcam showing calm conditions out there on the waters. It's been really nice beach weather. Whenever the water temperature is in the 70s and the actual air temperature gets in the upper 80s, it makes it feel nice when that sea breeze kicks in. Satellite and radar imagery still showing an area of high pressure that's dominating the weather now. It's still with us. It's kind of holding everything off and providing moisture to these storms now into Dallas and Houston. Kind of interesting feature here as the storms here moving north and these are moving south are going to collide right there between Houston and Dallas tonight. On top of that, we have this easterly wind component. This easterly wind continues to bring in some warm temperatures throughout the day. It does have a tendency to butt up against the sea breeze at times, and we get a little few showers developing in central Florida. Down to our south, a little bit more moisture bottled up down there, so they're getting some rainfall along an old frontal boundary or trough of low pressure, if you will. And it's extending all the way from Key West through Miami, a few showers west of Miami, basically, and southeast of Fort Myers. Some of this action working its way northward, so it's not out of the question for Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda and also Inglewood to see maybe a shower. There's one just popped up right there in the southeastern portions of Sarasota County, and a little bit of activity well inland, but not enough to help out. And the next real threat of any significant rain, and isn't all that much, will happen on Sunday, basically of the weekend. 81 degrees right now. Dew point is at 63. We have a barometer 30.05 inches. The wind forecast is calling for those winds to be out of the east throughout the day tomorrow. You'll notice that. So we'll have a little east wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Make them feel comfortable in the morning. And then those winds will start to turn more to the west, northwest by the afternoon with that sea breeze developing. So look for highs here in places like Arcadia, Wauchula, even into Northport and Lakewood Ranch to be into the mid to upper 80s, while beaches will see highs into the low 80s there. Well, you can see a steady stream of moisture kind of riding around that large area of high pressure. There's a little backdoor cold front coming down into Georgia and South Carolina. It's not going to make it all the way down here, as we'll see, again, that blocking ridge right over much of Florida and Georgia and Alabama. Well, the satellite and radar picture, I talked about these two storms kind of colliding and causing all sorts of heavy rainfall. The problem with this is that they're not going to move much once they hit, and so could get some flooding problems there into Dallas and Houston over the upcoming evening. And then out west, the steady stream of moisture continues to move in. You know, we're going through our drought here because of the dry winter, and so far this spring. Out west has been a different story. We talked about this last week, and some of the mountain ranges there are getting the most snow and precipitation than they've ever had in the history of recording weather out there, in places like California, Mammoth Mountain in particular. 54 degrees right now in Toronto. It's 68 in the nation's capital. Temperatures moderating a bit into Kansas City at 72 there. 90 though in Phoenix, 75 in Denver and Minot at 48. For boaters tomorrow, winds will be out of the east, turning to the northwest, and the seas will be running 2 feet or less. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature slowly warming up now. It's 76 and 83 for the beaches as far as the high temperature goes. I mentioned the mid to upper 80s well inland. Tides upcoming. Low tide will be at 1:09 in the morning. High tide will be at 5 p.m. And the only 2-tide day tomorrow, really. Partly cloudy skies, clearing late, and then a low of 64, a little bit above average. For tomorrow, I'll look for another day like today. It should be Tuesday. Just a few clouds and a stray shower in the afternoon. The extended forecast does call for an increasing chance for rain, but not much. We'll have much more on all of our weather coming up in a few minutes. Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you. Now in Suncoast Traffic Watch. No crashes in the area right now, but there is some backup on I-75 right near the Fruitville Road exit. You can see a slow going as you head north, even a little bit south, just south of Fruitville there. Slow going on the interstate. Haley?
Thank you, Scott. In health news tonight, for many of us, allergy season can mean misery with a capital M, but doctors say you don't necessarily have to give up and suffer through it. Allergy medicine may help with mild to moderate symptoms. Antihistamines can help with a runny nose, sneezing, and itching, but a decongestant may be more helpful for nasal congestion. When these efforts don't seem to be helping, it may be time for allergy shots. Can also help to keep the windows closed and the AC on to reduce your exposure to pollen. And make sure to take a shower when you've been outdoors so that all the water can wash off that excess pollen. A new report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention finds infection with the human papillomavirus continues to be the most common sexually transmitted disease in the U.S. HPV has dozens of strains which are more prevalent in men than in women. Strains of HPV are so common, the CDC estimates nearly all sexually active men and women will get the virus at some point in their lives. The CDC's most recent study revealed everyone is at risk for complications from HPV, but a doctor at Vanderbilt University Medical Center hopes this study will encourage more people to seek out the vaccine. The rise of bed bugs in the last few decades could be due to resistance to insecticides. A study published in the Journal of Economic Entomology found that bed bugs are showing lower susceptibility to two common pesticides. Researchers examined how much insecticide it took to kill each strain of bed bug and how long it took for them to die after exposure. Researchers found the concentration needed to kill one of the test populations was higher than the control group. The control bed bugs died 3 to 7 days after exposure to those different pesticides. An annual tradition at the White House, how President Trump kicked off the White House egg roll during his first year in office, and a video you'll never be able to unsee what lies underneath the laughing Tickle Me Elmo.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better eater.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under-bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less. Up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Nobody beats Subaru in service, quality, vehicle quality, and overall quality. And ALG named Subaru the 2017 top brand for residual value. Now lease the most fuel-efficient vehicle in its class, a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month. Or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
So many times we underestimate the human spirit's drive to recover. We often see people surpass what any of us might have expected initially. The Rehabilitation Pavilion at Sarasota Memorial is the top of the line. It allows us to really bring the patient's recovery to the next level.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
The Trump family taking part in their first presidential Easter tradition this morning, the annual Easter egg roll.
Thousands of children and their families gathered on the South Lawn for one of the White House's biggest social events of the year. The first couple blew their whistles to kick off a series of egg rolls, and then they were off and the hunt began. Afterward, the couple sat with the children to design cards for American soldiers.
After years of an extreme drought, Southern California is enjoying a wildflower super bloom. Incredible photos and videos show just how spectacular these wildflowers have transformed the landscapes into living paintings. You can even see the stark difference from space. Satellite images shot back in December and March of this year show a dramatic increase in the state's greenery. Isn't that incredible?
Wow. That's amazing. It's a lot of allergies, but it looks really pretty. A Florida mom wants her kids to know that it is okay to be different. That's what the Winter Springs mother, Leslie Eggenberger, decided to walk her kids to school wearing a T-Rex costume. This is the footage you see here of her unique parenting style. It quickly became an internet sensation. But the reason she's doing this is not for the attention. She says she puts on this dinosaur costume for her kids.
I want them to be uniquely themselves and never question anything that they do because of what people are going to think.
She brings a lot of attention. Well, obviously.
The Dino Mom's sons say they think the costume is cool and just hope that they get some turns to wear it themselves.
Well, ever wondered what a Tickle Me Elmo doll would look like without the fur? Well, after you see it, you may want to unsee this. Canada Science and Technology Museum posting a short and disturbing clip of the chuckling robot, and it's gone viral now. Some people calling the naked Elmo creepy and the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, don't show that to your kid who loves Elmo.
That will ruin Tickle Me Elmo if you see it. It's kind of like when you see a dog that's a fluffy dog. Either they get a haircut or they take a bath, and all of a sudden they've shrunken down to like looking like a drowned rat. So it's kind of like that, but much creepier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Still to come on your Suncoast News, the Easter holiday is over, which means many of our temporary residents are heading home.
We're going to hear from tourism officials about this year's season and why many snowbirds are heading back later than previous years.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
I heard about the Dettoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dettoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dettoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
It's the season of savings right now during the spring clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers, or stop by today and drive away in a 2017 Jeep Cherokee for just $18,999. And for a limited time, get America's best value, a new Dodge Journey for as little as $16,599. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off
off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.